Stefan, go ahead.
Doug, obviously your first taste of the rivalry today. I mean, how disappointing is it to walk away with this?
Stefan, can you restart? I had my volume down. That's my fault.
Yeah, you guys got me now?
Yeah, we're good.
All right, Doug, obviously your first taste of the rivalry. How disappointing is it to walk away with a loss of this nature?
Yeah, it wasn't a lot of fun. Great college environment. So you got to love rivalries. And again, it did not go our way at all. I was proud that we stayed in the fight in that fourth quarter to just keep on competing, because the way we started that game what was not good. But great rivalry, great. Again, it's fun to play in those environments, and it's misery to lose in them.
Obviously, some confusion with the broadcast there out of halftime. Can you speak at all to the situation with Anastasia Hayes and what happened there at the break?
There's just some miscommunication with some ball screen coverage, and we worked it out at halftime as a team. And I thought she came out in the second half and again competed really well, just like the other ones. And sometimes when the game gets like that, you're trying to win a quarter, and it might not be for this game, it's for the next game. And so down the stretch there, I thought she was doing a really good job, and everybody, there was some tension, no doubt. I'm not going to lie, there was just some tension and communication. There's some players that haven't played together for a while, but it all got sorted out at halftime, and we went out and played that second half.
Andy, go ahead.
Hey, Doug, that press defense that Ole Miss had tonight, how difficult did that make things for you, especially in the first half when it seemed kind of suffocating?
Yeah, it was really good, and unfortunately, we're trying to break it during timeouts. Get somebody behind the ball, flash somebody in. I thought Jerkayla Jordan did a great job. She knew yesterday that she was going to play the 5, and she battled and figured out positioning on the fly. It just seemed like we were playing everybody somewhere different, which we've done before, and we've bragged about when we've been able to come out on the positive side with that one. That some of that length up top. We just didn't do a very good job attacking it spacing wise. We needed somebody behind and somebody flashing in, and they did a great job. So, credit them, but I just didn't like our attack, and I probably used all my timeouts in that first half trying to fix it. I just couldn't quite get it done.
Is this one of those, I mean, you kind of mentioned you played shorthanded here the past couple of games now, and here you are again. And is it just kind of, it kind of catches up to you at some point? Is that kind of the feeling right now in this kind of game?
Maybe. It's always with different people though, so it's hard to say. And again, it's not a lack of effort. It's not a lack of competing. We did lose our composure just a little bit, which is normal, but it didn't stay there, and they fought back, and I do appreciate that, and I'm sure all the fans appreciate that too when somebody stays in there when it's not going your way. But not having Danae Carter, I don't want to make excuses, but not having Danae Carter in the middle is a big factor for a team like ours. And we can do what we did with Jerkayla for some time, but it's a long time for somebody 5'7" to be in there for 40 minutes battling. And then again, if we didn't turn the ball over like we did, didn't gamble quite as much, maybe we could have made it a little bit better, a better game. But I mean, they were very, very good this afternoon. We were not.
Courtney, go ahead.
Yeah, Coach, just kind of elaborating off of Andy's question, how much did you feel like just having that game canceled during the week, as well as all the other complications you guys have had over the last, week and a half or so depth-wise, contributed to today?
Some. I mean, it's just, you don't want to make excuses like that after just because you lost, and you weren't making those kinds of excuses when you were able to pull some of them off. Ole Miss gets the most credit, not us missing a game. missing a player, they get the credit because they did what they needed to do to win this game. And then, we just got to do a better job as people come back and learn how to play with each other and move back to maybe some normal positions. But, we just need a little bit of a centerpiece, in Danae, and then, that can free up some other players to make some plays. But again, in the second half, after we went through a little bit of turmoil, I do think we started to get together a little bit better and play, something that we would be halfway proud about.
Is there any sort of mental barrier you're having to sort of guide your players through as they're continuing to work shorthanded? I know it's been sort of a different player each time that's been out.
Well, I mean, we're always overly cautious, and like Ashley Jones was just cleared today after sitting out so long. And to throw somebody in the mix after they haven't moved, Rakia hasn't done anything, up until the last 2 practices, and I haven't even been at practice for the last 5 or last 4. So, their body needs to be reconditioned. It doesn't take very long. I think we're well-conditioned athletes, but sometimes it takes a little bit, and you need to be careful about how far you're going to push somebody. And some can go right away. They 1 day of practice and their conditioning is fine. Others, it might take a week or 2 to get them going again, the way they were. So, it's just constant assessment and good communication between our athletic training staff, the player and the coaches, and moving forward.
Thank you.
Oh, Stefan, go ahead.
Doug, I know you mentioned just the size disadvantage that you guys had, but what do you see from a player like Shakira Austin and kind of what she brings now that she's over in the SEC?
Yeah, she's a very good player, and like a lot of very good players, when you give them a couple easy ones, maybe gamble and she can get to the rim, that basket becomes really big and all of their talent can shine. Next time around, I would really like to maybe have another body on there, a couple bodies on there, and just not give her the easy ones and see if we can put some pressure on her. We did not. She played spectacular. She's a very good player.
You guys last week were obviously able to carry the momentum from, the Alabama win, take it into that Vanderbilt game. What do you, I guess, have to do as a coach now to kind of take this loss and some of the tension that came with it and turn it around so it doesn't, carry over to a second, third consecutive loss?
Yeah, we try to stay consistent with our approach. I mean, when we watch film, it will be instructional defense, positive defense, instructional offense, positive offense. And so a win or a loss is not going to, it's not going to make us go crazy. Obviously, we're not happy. They're not happy about it. But how we go about teaching the game, how we go about instructing it, and how we need to play, we want that to be very consistent. So that we're not just being emotional because we didn't get what we wanted today. There's always something good in there that we want to be able to find and grow. And if you're just coaching off of emotion, if you're just teaching off of emotion, sometimes you miss some of the best stuff that's out there, and it's you just got to battle through.
We'll wrap things up with Andy.
Hey, Doug, I'm curious. It looked like mostly man-to-man defense for you guys. Did you consider kind of going with a zone to try to match up with Austin? I don't know, like double the post a little bit, or was it just kind of a case of you kind of trusted what you had in a man-to-man?
We just stayed with what we had man-to-man, started switching a little bit. We tried a little bit to do some sandwiching, one in front, one behind that looks like a zone. We got too far. We got too extended at the top of the key. Sometimes when you try to catch every snowflake, you just can't. And so you have to give up something. I didn't think we gave up something. We just tried to catch every snowflake and guard every action, which made it really hard for who we were putting out there in some of the matchups. We needed a man and a half or two people on something. So yeah, I wasn't that wasn't my favorite part of the game. We weren't able to make the necessary adjustments to make the thing tough. But some of that was we just kept turning it over, which we don't do. And good, nice 3-quarter press, and we just gave it up. And they were pick sixes a lot. And so it wasn't even the half court defense all the time. It was those pick sixes that made it feel so bad. And then you start panicking a little bit and trying to do a little too much. And that's where you're giving up, too many easy ones on the half court offense.
I'm curious about the turnovers. I mean, you don't usually see those from Maya and Anastasia. Just you mentioned like kind of a composure issue. Like, where does that kind of stem from? Because was it kind of just the beginning of the game, 3 straight turnovers to start the game? Did that kind of just unsettle some people a little bit, or how did it
Well,
kind of stem?
it did me. It surprised me. And then, and again, we tried to, call timeout. I think Madison Scott's size was a big factor. In some of our guards just couldn't quite see over her, through her, or around her. And again, we didn't have the necessary outlets for the smaller guards so that we could get to their skill set. Eventually we started to crack it a little bit, but it was, it's hard making those adjustments during the game or coaching something like that during the game. That's where you want to be able to do something like that in the preparation leading into a game.
All right, thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.